W. Calvin Anderson, Oak City shout out. Good morning, Jim. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Calvin. Thank you.
Jim, how do you pronounce your whole name?
My name is Jim Ranieri. It's Italian, so it can get tricky from time to time.
Absolutely. I grew up in an Italian neighborhood in New Rochelle, New York. We talked just briefly. Please tell me about Beow Book and Brew.
Yeah, so we're a bookstore, we're a coffee shop, we're a bar. We'll eventually have food once we get all our stuff in order and build our kitchen. But really more than that, our vision is to be a space that cultivates the great conversation. I think, loneliness is on the rise. There's constant division, and we feel like we're kind of tearing ourselves apart on the edges. And it feels really important to me to start a space where writers, thinkers, creators, people can come in and have a conversation with one another. Remember how to love one another even in the midst of disagreement, to care for one another, to think, to talk, to have a space where that's encouraged and guided. And so, the intention of Beow's is for us to restore that idea that we can sit down and talk to one another. Even if we agree on everything, disagree on everything, we can still walk away neighbors, friends, with a pat on the back. And so to do that, we provide really good coffee, really good beer, good wine, good food, good environment, great books. But we also want to encourage writers, creators, thinkers to meet together here in these spaces, to share their art, to share the things that they're doing, and for us to share in it with them so that we can establish a sense of community and a connection with one another.
Jim, that's awesome. Raleigh is on the rise. It's gentrified. You have some experience in Raleigh being downtown. What's your perception of the growth and development?
Yeah, I grew up in Raleigh, moved down here when I was 9 from New York, and in some ways I've seen the city grow, and in a lot of ways that's been exciting. But as with many things in life, lots of opportunities can come with unintended consequences. And so there's real richness and beauty in the city, but there's a lot of opportunity for us to make the city better as it expands and it grows. And so my church has met downtown for years since it started, and for the first
what's the name of your church?
Redeemer Anglican Church. And so for the first eight or so years of our church's existence, we met in African American churches. We would rent from them their space, and we would meet early before their services. But we had a beautiful rhythm that was some of the most meaningful times that I've ever experienced in church, where on fifth Sundays we would do a unity service, and our church would take the lead on one of them, and then the next one their church would take the lead, and we'd participate with one another in services. And I'm a musician and got to play in the band a few times with their musicians, and there was such a richness and beauty of, like, despite division, despite what the world might be trying to get us to do, we can come together, we can love one another, care for one another, have a mutual respect, to see the dignity of the human person. And those are beautiful times. And sadly, because the city's growing, I think there's opportunity, because the value of property near the city is so high that folks are left with a choice of, well, this is a really great opportunity for me, but it's pushed out those communities. And so I think we have an opportunity as a city to think through that well, to care about that, to
Jim,
approach it with thought.
You've established Beow Book and Brew. What's your address and your hours of operation?
Yeah, so Beow's, our first location is 8111 Creedmoor Road, Suite 153. We're in the Brennan Station Shopping Center, right down from Briggs. And we are open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Mondays, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, Saturday. The reason we close at 5 on Mondays is to set aside space for book clubs, groups that want to gather. So we'll still be open, but regular operations will kind of shut down early. So Monday evenings are reserved for groups to come in and have conversations.
How do we contact you?
So you can reach out to me by email, is the best way. My email is Jim, Jim, @booksandbrewsnc.com. And you can visit our website, beowsbooksandbrews.com, or follow us on social media. All of our social medias are @BeowsBooks.
Jim, you're really awesome, and this was a blessing to see your sign and come by.
Thanks, Calvin. I'm really glad you walked in. We're excited to have you in here.
Take great care.
You too.